So strong.
Oh. How to open your jar.
Remember when we first met John McClane? Argyle picked him up from the plane and took him down the Nakatomi Tower at the Christmas party. And the terrorists were overzealous, but it was sweet when they killed Ellis. And with a little help from Alan, John McClane kicked ass.
Welcome back to Shat the Movies, the podcast where we answer the question, were the movies we loved when we were growing up really that good? Have you ever caught yourself thinking, why don't they make movies like they used to? Can you still remember spending your Friday night searching for the perfect movie rental at Blockbuster Video? Do you know what Blockbuster Video is? If you answered yes, then this is the podcast for you. I am one of your hosts, Gene Lyons, and alongside me is my co-host, Big D, Dick Ebert.
Good evening.
And each week we take a look back in time to decide if our favorite films still hold up. The movies we cover are chosen by you, the listeners, who generously commission the films you love. If you'd like to see all the movies we have covered, will cover, want to choose one for yourself, please visit shatpod.com and have a look. At the end of each podcast, we'll provide you, the audience, with a number of wipes each movie take to get off your respective butts. So thank you so much for listening. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and share with a friend. It's how we help the podcast grow. Additionally, subscribe to our sister podcast, Shat on TV, where we review TV series such as Westworld, Taboo, American Gods, Game of Thrones, True Detective, Lovecraft Country, and Watchmen. Find all our information and past episodes at shatpod.com/TV. And finally, if you'd like to hang out with us live, follow and subscribe to our Twitch channel, shatpod.com/Twitch, and our YouTube channel, where we play video games, host watch parties, and edit this podcast live. All that being said, Big D, what movie are we reviewing tonight?
Gene, what's funny is week to week, we could have some wild mood swings. Films that take us on a roller coaster to next week is something bright and light. Last week's Deer Hunter, that was a tough one for us, and I think tonight is a good change.
Absolutely. Slipping from the malaise and despondent nihilism of the Vietnam War, Russian roulette, and the ashy Midwest to a world of fantasy, bright colors, and mystical beings. I think it's a nice change of pace.
We've done some great animated films in the past. Little Mermaid, Ninja Scrolls, South Park, The Batman, Mask of the Phantasm, Transformers, Toy Story. I think we need some more because there are some great 80s and 90s animated classics. And that's why I was very excited. One of our great listeners, Cheryl from Australia, wrote in and said, please do the 2010 classic, How to Train Your Dragon.
And Cheryl from Adelaide wrote in and said, hi from Adelaide, Australia. I have listened to the Shat Pod since early COVID, and it kept me sane throughout. Just heard The Little Mermaid, and as you mentioned, you haven't done a lot of animated movies. How to Train Your Dragon by DreamWorks is thought by many as the best ever and is my all-time favorite. I'm 77, so age is not an encumbrance to falling hopelessly in love with Toothless and Co. John Powell's score is also magnificent. I miss Ash, and that's Cheryl from Australia who says, P.S. Hope I'm not dead before the How to Train Your Dragon podcast.
Well, I hope she's alive too.
Yeah.
I really do. Cheryl, please let us know. Being 77, she was probably around when animated films became, I don't want to say back like Snow White, because that, was she around back?
Steamboat Willie.
She might have been. Steamboat might have been her favorite. But yes, I agree. This is a great film. I would have it up on my top 10. A lot of people do. And it's fun to go do some non-Disney, non-Pixar. And DreamWorks has had some good films.
I feel like a Australian 77 is like an American 57, though.
It depends on where she lives.
They're rapscallions down there.
Well, if she's in the outback, we saw what it...
she fought at Gallipoli.
Then she's probably young spirit. She probably runs a lot.
Iron Springs.
Yeah.
Like a leopard.
When this came in, Gene, I thought the timing was perfect. Not only are you about to become a father, but also they just released the live action version of this film. So I wanted to do my due diligence because I talk about the remakes into live action films. I went out today, a matinee, Vanessa, Emma's friend and her mother went out and saw this. So I have something to compare it to because I am a lover of animated films. I've talked about it. I've loved Disney. I grew up on them. I worked at Blockbuster, so I was familiar with them. Ultimately, I went to Florida to work for Disney, and I got that internship based on my singing rendition of some of the Little Mermaid songs, which Cheryl heard in the recording. And now with Emma, I was exposed to all kinds of cartoons that she watched when she was younger. Now she's becoming into some more mature stuff. Like she just watched, it's called K-pop and like the Vampire Hunters or something like that she's watching now. But Gene, I have to prepare you. You are entering a strange new world, my friend, of animated films and music that you will simultaneously love and hate. I predict the Wiggles, Team Umizoomi are going to be some of your favorites. You might even like My Little Pony, Friendships is Magic.
The big surprise for me is when I was in Nashville visiting our friends Justin and Ashley, and they showed me Bluey. And I'm very into Bluey. Bluey is super cool. I like Bluey. Like I would watch Bluey if no kids were around. But I'm not so sure that I'm going to enter the world of cartoons and animated kids content, because I think back to the way I was raised, and my mom didn't watch anything that I watched. Like it was fine that I was watching it, but she didn't care. And I think I'll be the same.
Well, Gene, I'm going to give you just a little quick hit. Now, anybody out there who's listening who has kids, I'm only going to give you a little bit. This is what you're in for, and anybody out there will know what it is, what his name is now. But the Wiggles, Gene, this will either drive you nuts or you will like the creative. This is Do the Propeller. It's an Australian group, 5 colors. They are still going to this day. And this is Do the Propeller. You might like Hot Potato, but I want to give you a little snippet of Do the Propeller. Is it catching you at all, Gene?
I want to add to your list of instant ways to be a star if you have no talent. You could do country music. You can do Christian rock. You can do children's bops, I guess, or whatever the fuck that was. Why can't kids just listen to regular music?
Oh, they can. They can, but this...
So what's this all about? You were talking about the Olivia Rodrigo. What's wrong with her? Why do we have to do the propeller?
You can try that, but here it ties into the show. It teaches them lessons. It's a big hit, Gene. Then it turned into this nasty money grab, and they were fighting over contracts. Then one of the Emma Wiggle, which was the yellow Wiggle, she married the purple Wiggle. Then there was some other. They kicked the Wiggle out because of drug use. It's a lot of Wiggle drama.
I like to kick a little Wiggle out every now and then. When I was a teenager, when I was a young adult, black every day, and I had standards of what music I would listen to, what clothes I would wear. What I would drive, and now at my age, all those things have gone out the window. I got my purple Diamondbacks hat on. I'm wearing sandals. I never used to wear sandals. And so I think, we evolve, we change, and I'll probably get sucked into some of this stuff. But honestly, it's much more likely that I'll be sitting there reading The Razor's Edge or The Moviegoer in a chair next to my daughter while she's watching Team Umizoomi. But I have experienced the children of my friends. And in the course of hanging out with those friends, when I go over to their houses and I'm hanging out, they've always got some sort of kid shows and movies. And I'm not looking down on parents that do that. I will likely do that. I think it's great to have the adults get to hang out a little bit and talk and have the kid distracted by something. And it's certainly, I think, better than an iPad to at least have something on the TV. Most of the stuff that I've seen does nothing for me other than the aforementioned Bluey. I really like Coco. I know that was a long time ago, but I watched Coco and I thought it was pretty good. How to Train Your Dragon, it's right up there for me. It's one of those that I would watch regardless of whether children even existed. It isn't the funniest animated film I've seen, but it is among the most fun. Like we mentioned, after The Deer Hunter, I was really excited for something to lift my spirits, make me a little happy, make me smile, and this movie came right on time. How to Train Your Dragon is a 2010 animated fantasy film based on the 2003 novel by Cressida Cowell. Produced by DreamWorks Animation, the film stars the voices of Gerard Butler, Craig Ferguson, America Ferrera, Jonah Hill, TJ Miller, and Kristen Wiig. In the mythical Viking village of Berk, Hiccup, an undersized teen outcast, befriends a rare creature and quickly discovers that things are not exactly as they seem in the conflict between Vikings and dragons. The directors of the film wanted to ensure they took advantage of the improvisational abilities of the cast, so they frequently brought them together in the recording sessions, and they hired cinematographer Roger Deakins as a visual consultant to help them with the aesthetics of the film and to add a live action feel. As Cheryl mentioned, John Powell composed the film's musical score, and How to Train Your Dragon was a commercial success, earning nearly $500 million worldwide and becoming the 10th highest grossing film of 2010. It was widely acclaimed by critics, praised for its animation, voice acting, writing, musical score, and 3D sequences, and received numerous accolades, including 2 Academy Award nominations. It is the first entry in what became a multimedia franchise, which includes 2 more films, How to Train Your Dragon 2 in 2014, and How to Train Your Dragon The Hidden World in 2019. Let's hit the trailer.
Welcome to Dragon Training. Today, you will learn to fight dragons.
Pain. Love it.
Let's get started.
You should come by sometime to work out. You look like you work out. I guess it's just you and me, huh?
No, just you.
Focus, Hiccup.
Can I transfer to the class with the cool Vikings? Whoa. Has anyone ever tried to train a dragon?
No one's ever lived to tell the tale.
It's okay. I'm not gonna hurt you. Let's see if this works. We're gonna take this nice and slow. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Whoa! Yeah!
Get down!
It's okay. You just scared him.
I scared him?
Everything we know about them is wrong. Let me show you.
Either we finish them, or they'll finish us.
Fire!
We don't have to fight them. Whoa. Go, baby!
No matter how this ends, it ends today.
What are you gonna do?
Something crazy.
I'm in. Me too. Sign me up.
I love this plan.
Go.
DreamWorks How to Train Your Dragon.
It's like the size of my... Oh, get it off!
The Viking village of Berk is frequently attacked by dragons. Hiccup, the 15-year-old son of the village chieftain Stoic the Vast, is deemed too weak to fight, so he creates mechanical devices under the apprenticeship of Gobber, the village blacksmith. Hiccup uses his invention to shoot down a rare dragon called a Night Fury, but nobody believes him. When Hiccup finds the Night Fury, he cannot bring himself to kill the injured dragon. When he sets the creature free, the Night Fury pins Hiccup down, but spares his life. So as the movie kicks off, you might be wondering, why is every adult character voiced by Shrek? According to experts, I can't believe I'm saying this, according to experts on How to Train Your Dragon, the Scottish accents make sense because Vikings and Scots commingled. And the village of Berk is not a real place. Surprise. It is fictional. So this was a way to show the contrast between the old generation and the kids. Because you notice the kids, for some reason, don't have Scottish accents. That's what the experts say. Here's what Gene Lyons thinks, okay? Shrek made a shit ton of money in 2001, 2004, 2007, and 2010. So my guess is DreamWorks said, let's do the accent thing. Kids love it. Also, if you wanted the Vikings to be accurate and speak Old Norse, it sounds a lot like Valoran from like Lord of the Rings. And I think that would scare children.
Yeah, but I think the accents, it makes them exotic.
But they all have the same accent.
Do you think anybody else can really tell?
Durka, Durka.
There was a lot of Vikings. It wasn't just the Scots. There was Swedish. There was the Danish, the Norwegians. There was a lot of Scandinavian Vikings. So at least give them all that one universal voice. The better question is why the kids speak, normally.
There are dragons, if you guys didn't notice. So this is not normal Earth. They can all have Scottish accents. That's fine. It's a little on the nose for me, but I'll allow it.
No, and as an American, I think the accent makes them seem more formidable. It makes them seem like warriors. They're so much tougher with that heavy, is it a brogue? Makes them sound manly. It makes them sound like they could rip a dragon's head off with their hands, and they're all scarred up, and they're really a tough, stoic breed. And I'm thankful, though. The one thing they don't do, Gene, which is a typical crutch of most animated films, is having fucking talking animals. The dragons, they don't talk to each other. They don't talk to us. They do have some kind of like a symbiotic, an understanding of the English language. They understand what the rider and other humans are saying. They're very connected, but I didn't need to hear them talking. I hate in Disney when every forest creature comes in and has a full-blown conversation. You wanted to humanize the dragons. That's great. You did it through their connection. It makes them less goofy, less mysterious. And when Disney does it, I'm already taken out of it. And what's important about this film, this is 2010. The CGI and the animation, the computer animation, it looks surprisingly good. It's not perfect. There are some issues when the characters are moving around, but the art direction, it stands apart. It's unique. The characters, the landscape, the atmosphere, it is very distinct. You know the world. You know the characters, the dragons. Lately, we've had a huge issue with animated films becoming failures because all of them look alike. And I did some research on it, and they've coined the term bean mouth. And this is a Pixar style, like Luca, Turning Red, and Elio, which the mouth of the characters looks like a bean.
Oh, like Despicable Me, like the Minions.
Correct. It all looks like it's done by the same animators in the same world. There's very little distinct visual identity. The textures look similar here. I mean, the flights, the village, it all looks very, very real. You can feel it. It's purposeful. And it's a great reminder that when you have something unique, it doesn't age as quick as something that is cookie cutter and trying to match a trend.
I think a big part of the look here stems from hiring a real cinematographer. So Roger Deakins, this guy does incredible work in real live action film. I looked up his filmography. It's mind-boggling. 1917, Blade Runner 2049, The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford, Barton Fink, No Country for Old Men, Shawshank Redemption, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, Skyfall. This is the Coen brothers' go-to guy. And that's just like a limited list of dozens of films that he's done. But I get why. I get why they brought him in, because this movie has a feel to it that is unlike any other animated film that I've seen. And you think about what else came out in 2010. You had Tangled. I think you had Shrek 4. They didn't look like this. And in addition to that, they nailed the character design. Animated films have given us some impossibly cute characters over the years. How to Train Your Dragon gave us Toothless. And Toothless is on another level when it comes to character design. He is a triumph. He looks like part, I guess they, I don't know if Toothless, he's a boy. Is he a boy?
Yes, yes, he.
Okay. Toothless.
He identifies as a male dragon.
He's a gelding. Part axolotl, part bat, part panther, part dog. You just look at him and you think, wow, he's cute, but also, wow, he's badass. The first time we're introduced to the dragons, it's on this night raid. You see all the other dragons. They look kind of silly. They're kind of unwieldy. They got big bellies and tiny wings and stuff. But then there's Toothless, or the Night Fury as we know him at the time. There's just this sound, and then speed, and then explosions in the night. I was so glad that the main dragon that we're supposed to be rooting for in this movie was not a bumbling sidekick to Hiccup, okay? He is a badass. He is the stuff of nightmares.
No, and thank goodness that, Toothless doesn't have some romance, like a girl Toothless, who's back like with the other dragons. And I don't need that shit. They respect animals. Each of these creatures is unique. They're inherently intelligent. They're very smart. And I'm glad that, as we get towards the end of the movie, that Hiccup teaches the rest of the village that maybe they're part of the problem and they're misunderstanding what the dragons are doing. But the way they understand the importance of all the Vikings, whether it's Hiccup or his dad, saying, I'm sorry, or even Astrid saying, sorry, Toothless. There's an understanding that immediately humanizes Toothless. The design is great. The eyes are great. But without the way he reacts to the characters, it's all just fluff. It's just all design. But there's an emotional connection that it's a real creature. Within the first 10 minutes, Toothless is real.
How is Toothless in the new one?
Looks good. Looks good, but the problem is, I'll give it to you quick here, is it is a shot-for-shot recreation of this film.
That's a thing now, right? The shot-for-shot recreation. It's like a flex.
Well, partially it's because I watched the animated film so recently that each of them I knew. I was mapping. I was blocking the shots. I was like, all right, this is going to be over Toothless's shoulder. We're going to see Hiccup looking down at the forest. It was spot. Like, it was unoriginal. He does look good, though. Toothless looks good, but it is not that same connection. And I can't put my finger on what it is, but the animated film is far better.
Before leaving with his fleet to destroy the dragon's nest, Stoic enrolls Hiccup in a dragon fighting class with fellow teenagers Fishlegs, Snoutlout, Rough Nut, Tough Nut, and Astrid. Facing little success in the class, Hiccup returns to the forest and finds the Night Fury in a cove, unable to fly with a torn tail fin. Hiccup befriends the dragon, naming him Toothless after his retractable teeth, and designs a harness and prosthetic fin that allows Toothless to fly with Hiccup atop his back.
So I think what makes this film and a lot of the animated classics that we all love easy to latch onto for a broad spectrum of audiences is that you have to have some way to be relatable in the experience, in the characters, in their lives. Recently, there's been a trend towards very specific issues and situational things that people go through growing up that a broad audience cannot connect with. Here, it is very simple. It's a relatable experience. At the heart, this is a film about a parent's approval and a child striving to gain it. And then also, simultaneously, society's expectation and whether or not people ultimately decide to stay true to themselves or to conform. These are universal truth, Genes. Age, it doesn't matter. Where you grew up doesn't matter. Generational doesn't matter. This is something that everybody can relate to. And today, the issue is you go into things like turning red. That is a very specific niche experience. I can't relate to a girl going through puberty in China with parents who I can't do it. So this movie finds a way to have common ground that audiences can love, parents, kids. Today, it seems like everything is either aimed at adults or kids. This is something that was timeless, and it speaks to all of us.
And that common ground lays the foundation for the truths to not feel trite, so that the movie's not preaching at you or just throwing something out of left field. There's lines like when Gobber's talking to Stoic about Hiccup, and he says, you can't stop him. You can only prepare him. That is a valid philosophy when it comes to raising a young person. I've talked to so many family members that are like, oh, well, you got to watch out. Can't let her hang out with boys, She's going to meet boys and girls. I don't know which one she's going to prefer. She might try drugs. She might not. I don't know. I can't stop her. You cannot stop a human being from doing anything, but you certainly can at least prepare them for the things they're going to experience. That's coming out of a fucking children's movie, man. And it would seem preachy, like I said, if they hadn't earned this relatability where I'm like, yeah, I get it. I see myself in this situation.
And any parent out there can probably relate to this. If you try to steer your child towards something, they will immediately go the other way. I was raised, my father, let's just say was...
He didn't like kissing boys, but you did.
No. So what?
No.
No. So whatever... my father, let's just say, was less tolerant. Yeah, he was not a very understanding man of different cultures. So I came home with a different culture, someone who wasn't legally in the country at that time. I'm going to say it, but you know what? That's what happens when you drive your kid one way. But Emma watching this, Gene, we went and watched the live action. Spoiler alert, at the end, there's a big kissing scene, the big smooch. Emma literally almost stood out of her seat and went, woo! And started clapping. I looked at her like, what are you doing? She goes, Oh, that wasn't me. That was my friend. I was like, I just saw you applaud that kiss. So prepare them, Gene. That's all you can do. I already see exactly where this is going.
Part of the power of this movie is not just being universally relatable to different types of people, but also having a depth in the experiences that it tries to convey. For me, it was the connection between Hiccup and Toothless. And whether it's a rabbit or a cat or a dog or a dragon, the first time a creature trusts you enough to touch it, that never gets old. I remember with perfect clarity the first time Juniper voluntarily booped me with her giant snout. And if people haven't seen my dog, like on social media, she has a head the size of a whole dog. I was sitting on the floor with her in the kennel at the Arizona Animal Welfare League. She was up for adoption at the time, and I was trying to get her adopted. And what we would do is we would read to the dogs that were afraid of male voices, which is very common with strays and dogs that have been surrendered. And so I'm hoping that she'll just come through what they call a guillotine door. It's a door that goes up and down and allows the dog to go into its own private space if it needs a little time off. And it can also voluntarily come into the shared space. And all I was hoping for was she would come through the guillotine door and she would sit next to me. And I'm reading and I'm nose down in the book. And when I least expected it, I just felt this warm muzzle and then the heaviness of her head, and it just slid down my shoulder. And that was a magical feeling. And when we see Hiccup, that first time he reaches out his hand and Toothless makes that connection, it was captured beautifully. And that's when you know a movie's really done it.
How you define a good person, it can vary dramatically, right? But I think we can all agree, people who treat animals poorly are bad human beings. People who treat animals well, they generally have a good heart, a good spirit, an understanding. I think about it all the time. You're talking about sitting there reading. For an animal who doesn't understand, who may have experienced nothing but bad things from humans and know to fear and run to stay alive. I think about when Marshmallow, my little white rabbit, hops up on the couch and he buries his head in my hands. And I think about what trust it takes for him to emotionally connect and say, you know what, all of my thousands of years, hundreds of years of instinct and experiences and everything that's taught me to run, hide, stay silent. But I trust this person. That is such an emotional, that's why I love the little guy. I love our cats. And Gene, I know you're a dog guy and you love puppies. This is 100% a cat. When I see Toothless, I'm like, yes, that is Toby, Lily, or Bella are cats. They are a cat. The wiggle of the tail, the way they slowly creep, the setting the little fire and curling up. This is textbook cat behavior, Gene. The purr, Toothless actually purrs, but regardless of the species, the design captures what makes human beings fall in love and have a family member in the family dog, the cat, the rabbit, the whatever it is. And they capture it and it's immediately you're connected.
Just to be clear, for all the dog lovers out there who need me to say it for you, tail wiggling, slow creeping, what I would call prowling, curling up, chasing laser pointers. Dogs do all of that. The purring, maybe not so much. Although Spencer my dog Spencer kind of like grumbles to himself occasionally. Maybe the purring is a cat thing, but the rest of it, that's all dog stuff.
Yeah, I think that Toothless is intelligent. Dogs seem a bit like, hey guys, running around. A cat just sits there and looks, assesses. A dog runs head first, right in whatever you think. But I think Toothless is a cat.
You're buying into the Gen Z stare, man. You think they're staring because they're more intelligent. They're staring because they're still processing. Cats don't have anything going on upstairs. Dogs, on the other hand, highly intelligent. When's the last time you saw a cat doing an agility course?
That was because they're afraid, because they're simple. You can like train them with a tennis ball and some treats. A cat says, fuck, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that. If you want a puppet, get a dog.
At least cats don't work for cops. I'll give them that.
That's the next step. That's the next step. We need cats on patrol.
Police. Feline
Police
units.
Cats. Are you kidding me? A large cat like a bobcat? That would keep a crowd in order. A police bobcat.
Why do I feel like that's like a thing in like Bangladesh?
It probably is.
Police tigers.
God, I've seen the videos where like tigers are running through like some of those towns. Yes. A big cat will scare the shit out of you more than any large dog.
Well, learning dragon behavior from Toothless, Hiccup subdues other dragons, sparking suspicion and jealousy from Astrid. When Hiccup learns that he must kill a dragon for his final exam, he tries to run away with Toothless, but Astrid discovers them. So Hiccup takes her on a flight to demonstrate that Toothless is friendly. During that flight, Toothless is hypnotically drawn to the dragon's nest, where a gigantic dragon named the Red Death summons relatively smaller dragons to feed it. Astrid wishes to tell the village, but Hiccup advises against it to protect Toothless.
So, Jane, we've already talked about the animation style and how cute and unique the village and the characters are. But let's be honest, the cute sheep, which are going off to be slaughtered, yes, they're cute. The fish, that's great. Angry Vikings, that's all fun with peg legs, the village fireballs. But if you don't get the flight scenes right, if they suck, this entire movie falls apart. The first time that Hiccup and Toothless, they take to the sky, and it's partially by accident. They're testing, they're having issues. Hiccup is like refining the design of the pedals and the tail fin and all that. When that first flight, and they're about to crash, and they hit that arch in the water, and the score kicks in, I got goosebumps. And I know I'm supposed to, because that's why they designed it that way, but it evoked the first time I saw Superman and he takes flight, or Jake in Avatar when he's on the Banshee. It works. And when those scenes work, it's very important. You have to literally and emotionally be fired up, and the score kicks in, the wind is blowing, there's the speed, the danger, the joy. It's what makes this movie unforgettable. Without the flights, it's just a movie about sheep, Vikings, and dragons.
This is an evolution. This definitely isn't Disney classics, okay? Not knocking those movies. It was just a different way to look at flight, a different way to look at this action. In those movies, there was this softness to the movement, right? It was a stylistic choice, and it was very pretty. But where Aladdin floated and sort of zoomed through that endless diamond sky, How to Train Your Dragon, it is zipping and jerking and really giving you the feeling of a roller coaster and a fighter jet mixed with the majesty of the dragon's world as they go above the clouds and they see things that no Viking's ever seen before. It's brilliant.
But the other tie I just came up with is the fucking music. Disney can't stop without a song. Yes, Aladdin, they get out on a magic carpet ride. Instead of enjoying it, the two of them having a quiet moment as they fly through the skies of Azkaban, you get a whole new world. It's a musical number. Shut up. Give me something exciting.
A Whole New World's a great song, but I agree with you that How to Train Your Dragon, if they had inserted musical components, it'd ruin the movie.
Flying to the sky, my dragon. We don't need that. John Powell's theme, it is a powerhouse. And I kept waiting for it in this live action version, and they fumble that ball. Every time it comes in, you hear it like low, and then it swells. Whether it's tense moments or triumphant, like some fight scenes, I got goosebumps. It's emotional. It's elevating. It works. When Hiccup and Toothless, they start sweeping down over the water, and you see the spray kicking up. It's epic. It's not the background score. And I thought about every flying movie usually has a moment where there's excitement of whoever your character is. If it's Maverick and Top Gun, you get Kenny Loggins' Danger Zone, or you get the John Williams score in Superman the movie. And I saw the new one as well, and they do a piece of the original John Williams score. You can't help but get goosebumps when Superman starts to fly and you hear them. Even Iron Eagle, Gene, One Vision by Queen. These are kick-ass songs that tie into the moment and the emotion. Is there anything you would think of that's equal to that? Because those are my four.
E.T. E.T.'s got the greatest lift-off song on the bicycle when they go. Nah.
But I think, isn't that a version of the original score?
Well, yeah, I mean it is. But I'm saying, you were asking the flying score that excites me. I would say that's it. But I would say Harry Potter nails it with the flying music. There's that scene in Deathly Hallows when all hell is breaking loose when they go back to Harry's house, and the Death Eaters show up. Spoiler alert! And shit's all going crazy. Not saying I'm a J.K. Rowling fan, just putting it out there, but the Harry Potter movies were masterpieces, and Deathly Hallows was my favorite. Yeah, I think the music in that one really elevated the entire film.
Are you excited for the HBO series?
Did not know that existed. No.
Yes, they have already cast. They are doing the Harry Potter series. It's a reboot where they're doing, I believe, 10 episode seasons for each book. John Lithgow, I believe, is Dumbledore. They've cast pretty much everyone. No?
I wasn't aware of it.
Oh. You sound excited. Okay, so we'll check back in later.
I made a watch list of things that I need to see because I figured Sarah's going to get very pregnant very soon. And I should probably have a list of things that we can watch when she's not able to train and stuff like that. And we have gone through none of them yet. You want to hear what I haven't seen before? I have not seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Neither have I.
I have not seen Oppenheimer.
I have.
The Irishman.
Have not.
Parasite. A Separation. Carol. Moonlight. Little Women. I've seen the original Little Women, but not the newer one. I have not finished Silicon Valley. I have not seen When the Levees Broke. I have not finished Reservation Dogs. I have not seen Knives Out. That's why it's always funny when people are like hopping the Discord and like, oh, Gene, have you checked out whatever project? Like, no, I haven't seen it. And I probably won't. But Harry Potter, I might, depending on when's it coming out?
No, I don't know. It's in production now.
Oh, fuck. All right. Well, who knows?
You've got time.
I got time to watch all that other shit. Hopefully soon. Oh, I haven't seen the Dune movies.
No, neither have I. I saw the first one, but
how was it?
That was okay. It was okay.
How to compare to live action How to Train Your Dragon?
Oh, it's better. Far better. It's a much more like sweeping and epic film than How to Treat than a real live version of Hiccup and Stoic and Fish Legs.
Oh, I never even thought about that. The children are real, like human beings. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. The gall. To dress up as our heroes and pantomime their actions on screen. In his final exam, Hiccup tries to subdue a monstrous nightmare to prove that dragons can be peaceful. When Stoic unintentionally enrages the dragon, Toothless protects Hiccup, but he is captured. Hiccup accidentally reveals the location of the dragon's nest, and Stoic rashly disowns him. The chief prepares the fleet, using Toothless as a guide to find the nest. After Astrid builds up Hiccup's confidence, he shows his friends how to befriend the training dragons, and they set out after their tribesmen. Big D, we've talked about how much we love Toothless. We've talked about how much we love Hiccup. Are we fans of Stoic? Stoic the Vast, Hiccup's dad?
I think we are. I think he's in a tough situation.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the common tragic characteristic of being that parent who just doesn't listen to his kid. But where I liked King Trident, if you remember during Little Mermaid, how we kind of were like, yeah, Trident's not wrong here. He's a father who got the Shat seal of approval. Stoic, I'm not down with, man. He disowned his son for trying a different approach to dragons. Then he tortures the creature that clearly rushed to his son's aid. And then when his son Hiccup makes good, Stoic thinks he can just change his tune. Oh, I'm proud of you, son. No, Dad, you disowned me already. You don't get to be proud of me anymore.
You see, but I think I'm a little more forgiving.
Okay. Always, yes.
Certain parents, or like my parent, my father already mentioned some of his shortcomings as a parent, like raising me. But I have to realize he is a result of the way he was raised. So he's better than my grandparents were. My goal is to be better than he is. I don't know what we could expect from Stoic. He was raised to be a warrior, to protect his family, protect the village, lead them into ultimately destroying the dragons, which carried his wife away and ate her. I can't expect him to simultaneously be the feared leader of a Viking village and then also compassionately sympathetic to his son who doesn't fit the traditional role. And Gene, yes, the No Son of Mine, that hit me. That's a tough one to lay on because you have Hiccup. He's just been in a situation where Toothless comes in, he saves him. Then you get Dad, and Dad is scared. He's confused. He's disappointed. He can't emotionally deal with what's going on. I get it. I completely understand it. Doesn't make it right. But it's important, Gene, that you remember that your history of throwing things at the whiteboard or your things at work where people have written you up, you can't undo that from a child. You can be perfect 99% of the time, but the one time you lose your temper, I remember the 3 major times my dad lost his temper. Emma remembers the time I lost my shit. It was a long day. Emma rushing to pick her up from work at daycare. I go grocery shopping. I've got everything put away except for 1 jar of tomato sauce. It falls off the edge. I see it. Hits the ground. Glass shards, tomato sauce, and a young child coming running over. And I screamed, "Fuck!" at the top of my lungs. She remembers it to this day. So my piece of advice to you, Stoic, anyone out there, fathers, try your best to remember those moments you can't undo, and you can be perfect the rest of the time. So I'm going to cut Stoic some slack.
I appreciate you progressively sanitizing the story about me throwing shit in the office, where like now it's just me throwing shit at the whiteboard. Recall, the actual thing that happened was I threw a monitor across a room full of people, a computer monitor. I wish it had been just throwing something in the water, and somehow I still work there. That's how good I am, guys. That's how good I am. Big D, I have no doubt that I'll lose my shit someday, but I've got a secret weapon, which is Sarah. I'm pretty sure her temper will always make me seem like the nice parent. The child will not remember anything that I did because Sarah blows up so much bigger. I have a talent. I can sit there for hours with dogs barking in a car on a road trip, and I'm just okay with it because I'm like, yeah, man, dogs bark. Like, that's what they do. Most of my anger, honestly, is reserved for you and the King Bee. You are the two people. You are the 2 people I yell at in my life, and that is it. Literally, do not yell at anybody else other than you and the King Bee. You're the only 2 people who I literally will sit at the dining table and just be like, that motherfucker.
Oh, Jesus.
That's it. Everyone else, sunshine and rainbows, and it's because I care. It's because
Jesus
I care.
Christ. Who do you scream at more, me or King Bee?
Oh, King Bee, 1,000%.
Oh, thank God. I was going to say, if
I will literally tell Sarah, I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry. Can I just, I know I'm not supposed to talk about him. It's not a rule that she imposed. It's a self-imposed rule.
Right.
It's like the swear jar, right? I'm just like, but I need to vent. Yeah, sure. Tell me. And then I'll tell her what fucking asinine, stupid shit he did. And then it's fine. But yeah.
God, I would have been seriously hurt if I'm okay being on that list, but if I had been up there with like right at the top with King Bee, I would have, I might have left the village.
2 out of my 4 groomsmen are the 2 people that piss me off the most. That's kind of weird.
That's because you love us.
Justin, fucking angel.
How often do you talk to him?
Like once a week. But not like this.
I see. Okay.
Not like this, the depth of this relationship.
Yes. Okay, no. Good. So you're saying our fire, it burns hot.
Yeah.
We have a more intense relationship. That's what it is.
I'm just saying you're my smashed tomato jar.
Thank you. I feel special.
Stoic and his Vikings awaken the Red Death, who easily overwhelms them. Hiccup and his friends attack with dragons, distracting the monster. Hiccup frees Toothless, and together they defeat the Red Death. Fleeing the resulting explosion, Hiccup gets knocked off Toothless and loses his left foot. He awakes back in Burke and finds dragons frolicking in the village. Hiccup is now admired by his village, including Astrid, who kisses him. Woo! Burke begins a new era of humans and dragons living in peace. Big D talked about manipulation, that this movie manipulated you. I was manipulated and I was happy about it. I know a movie has won me over when I can sense what it's doing, I know the trick it's pulling, and I embrace that trick. Clearly, Hiccup and Toothless, they're outcasts made for each other. That's the message of the movie. They're best friends. And when I saw the 2 of them standing together in that frame, each missing a lower left extremity, all kinds of emotions hit me. I love their bond. I love these 2 characters. And honestly, I love this movie for giving us 2 heroes with disabilities. A+. But
I think it goes back to what I said earlier. When you have a common story, everyone, I don't care how cool you are. I don't care how much you were at the cool kids table in school. Everybody will have moments where they feel like they don't fit in. It's a relatable story. And that's why this film works. And we've hit kind of a dark time for animated films lately. It's a weird, where it used to be Disney and Pixar could do no wrong. Now we are in a very weird place where Disney releases almost nothing but live action remakes of all of their classics. I don't know. I've seen the movie now, the live action remake. I don't know why you would make a live action remake of How to Train Your Dragon. It is almost shot for shot the exact same film. Is it compelling? Did Vanessa like it? Did most of the people like it? Yes, because they haven't sat down recently for a wonderful listener, Cheryl in Australia, to watch the 2010 animated film. But the answer is money. The studios now are afraid. Everybody wants to have a hit. They don't want bombs. Elio, which is another one I went to see with Emma and a friend of hers. Elio opened to the worst weekend opening in Pixar history. That used to be guaranteed money, Pixar. But now it's just a wave of animated films. If they're original, they will fail. If they are an IP, a series of a film, then they will work. Because after COVID, people didn't want to spend the money to go out to the theaters. So it's got to be something people know now. So you've got, if I went back like almost, let's say 5.5 years, and I look at the box office, the hits are Inside Out 2, Frozen 2, Moana 2, Despicable Me 4, Kung Fu Panda 4, Minions: The Rise of Gru. Now, we can blame that on studios just wanting to have guaranteed money in return on existing IP, or the audience wanting a story they're familiar with. But this is a problem, Gene. Who do you think ultimately bears most of the responsibility for the lack of any original stories?
First of all, I think the reason why Elio failed is because he went up to the Communiverse. Communiverse. Americans don't want to see that. We don't want Communiverse in our movies. Big D, it's definitely the studios. I don't think people have gotten lame in what it is that they like. I think that the studios know a built-in audience is gold. And like you said, it's all about the money. Okay. This is going to be my anti-capitalist rant for a second here. But the fact is that we've always talked about how we were taught from birth, capitalism breeds innovation. That's before we became exceedingly capable of extracting maximum profits out of everything. And if you're following that dollar and that's your only guiding principle, innovation is going to kind of suffer. They know they got a built-in audience. And they have these full franchises built out, right? It's not like it used to be. It's not like you put out a movie and then that it rode on the movie and maybe a little bit of like some toy sales, maybe a tie-in with Burger King. That's not what it is now. It's a fully built out franchise. Every time you put out a Marvel movie, the money you're making is not just the Marvel movie. There's all these existing Marvel toys and Marvel clothes and Marvel rides and Marvel TV shows, and that's all there to soak up the related dollars. So you put something out in the MCU, it has this halo effect where the money's going to pour into all the other stuff. And then you get into SEO, you get into the algorithm. A person who is like, oh, new Superman movie's coming out, right? I want to see what that's all about. They Google Superman movie. They're going to see all the other Superman stuff online, animated series, prior movies, TV shows, merch. You'll notice as the Superman movie came up, you get all these blog posts and stuff, comparisons, TikTok videos about Dean Cain. You get Smallville. Was Henry Cavill better? Whatever. And now you're like, well, I got to go watch that one too. So I don't think it's the audience that's doing anything. I think it is the studios and the businesses built around them that understand that you have to tie it in to an existing audience, an existing universe to make the most money.
Kind of sad.
I
understand it because a true good story, an original story, it's something that sticks with you. And even why the hell do you need like How to Train Your Dragon 2 and 3? Come on. I know the answer, but sometimes restraint, people.
I want to spend more time with Toothless. I want more Toothless. Give me a part 2. I haven't seen it. I'm gonna watch it. I hope it's good.
Okay, maybe you'll get a Toothless origin story. His dark history growing up before he met Hiccup.
Pretty cool. Yeah, when he came from the dragon dog pound and not cattery. Did you know that's what they call a kennel and a cattery?
Really?
Yeah.
No. Then we'll get like the Zack Snyder, like dark, gritty version of Toothless.
Call Raj back up. See, it's gritty.
Yeah.
Like the source material.
Yeah, the origin of the Night Fury. Or Night Fury, Legend is Born. Some bullshit like that.
All right, now's the time of the podcast we give our Shat score for How to Train Your Dragon. Shat scores are always telling you how many wipes this movie takes to get out of your respective butts. 0 wipes is a perfect movie. It is a breast hat. And 5 wipes is an absolute disaster of a film. It's when all hell breaks loose in your undies. Big D, please do the honors.
After 3 hours of The Deer Hunter and an hour-long like wedding reception, and then a 40-minute hunting trip and a lot of wasted time, I was very thankful. DreamWorks, I appreciate it. Hour 37 minutes. How to Train Your Dragon. It's a masterclass in efficient storytelling. No wasted time, no filler. Every scene pushes the character. We didn't need a scene of a character getting out of the car and his hunting buddies drive down the street. He gets back in, then they drive down the street further. No. Everything that happens, every scene pushes the character forward. It deepens our connection with the characters. The pacing, it's brisk, it moves, it keeps kids focused on the film, it keeps adults thankful that we'll get in and out. Each moment felt earned, and it was refreshing. Every time something would happen in the plot, a character would change, they would grow. And in the end, nothing felt accidental. At the end, everyone could come away with a lesson they learned. Maybe whether or not it's important to gain the approval of your parents. If you're a parent, maybe it's understanding who your child is. If you're someone missing a fin or a foot, it's you can still be capable of being a fierce warrior in the dragon like Viking war. You can get it. So man, this is a 0.75 wipe film for me.
I'm almost there with you, Big D. I'm going to come in just a little bit higher at 1 wipe, only because not every joke hit. Some of the comedy was wasted. It was a little corny. And some of the characters did feel a little predictable and derivative. Like they were just saying, what is a Viking like? And they went to look at other materials that already exist about what Vikings are like. Some archetypal stuff going on there. It could have been a little more interesting with the characters. But I agree. This movie was a joy to watch. The 90 minutes flew by. And they made me feel a lot of things. There's a ton of heart in this movie. I was left wanting more. Like I said, I'd watch a sequel of this. It is beautifully directed. It is intelligently designed. I'm going 1 wipe for How to Train Your Dragon. And with 1 wipe from me and 3/4 of wipe from you, Big D, that gives us an average wipe score of 0.875 wipes for How to Train Your Dragon.
I'm very proud of you, Gene. I'm happy for you. Because any of our longtime listeners know you started out this podcast as a cold-hearted, uncaring. You used to describe children as if they were like animals. You almost described children as something, I don't understand them. I don't like children. What do I do with child? Child say thing, me not know what to do. Now you're like making connections with fucking flying dragons, and it's good to see. I'm very happy, Gene. Very happy.
Kids are a lot cooler than I gave them credit for sure.
It's good.
I still do not want anybody to send me footage of their child accomplishing something. That I just don't care about it. Very nature that child exists is fine for me. I don't need to know kid hit 3 fucking home runs today. Nobody cares.
What if it were the first time that your daughter dressed up as goth?
It's not an accomplishment.
It is. You don't think so?
It's not. If she did it on her own, I'd be like, oh, that's cool.
But it's first. First step, first word, first name.
You post a photo of Emma and you're like, she's 9. Look at how much she's grown. And I know I saw that baby when she was a baby. Okay. And for that, it's like mind blowing to me. She's tall now. She's doing activities. That stuff's great. Justin, his kids just turned 4 and 2 respectively. And I've known those kids since they were babies. And that's really exciting for me to see them grow and mature and develop little personalities. I love all that stuff. I just don't care about the accomplishments. Milestones, fine. Accomplishments, don't care.
And just for the record, Justin, he also does not make me angry. He makes me much less angry than you do.
He doesn't make anybody angry. He's the nicest guy.
He is the best.
With the worst fantasy baseball team.
He's great. So, Gene, with the final wipe score of 0.875 wipes, that now ties us with Last of the Mohegans, slightly better than Rushmore, Conan the Barbarian, Rounder, slightly worse than the Monster Squad, Hunt for October, and E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Fucking Monster Squad punching above its weight.
Dude, Monster Squad I thought was pretty damn good.
Wolfman's got
Well,
nards.
oh, hey, time out. I think we have a math issue, I think.
Oh.
I gave it 1, you gave it 1, and I think Ash gave it 0.5.
Ash.
Yeah, when she had her films, like she would
She had her films.
when she loved something, she could throw like logic and caution to the wind.
All right, Big D, let's rip through some email before we get out of here. The first one comes from Omar. It says, greetings, Shat Crew. I hope this finds you well. My 50th is coming up, and I'd like to splurge on commissioning a couple of tragically underrated horror masterpieces. The masterworks in question are The Exorcist and Jack's Back, in which James Spader hunts, or maybe is, a Jack the Ripper copycat in 80s LA. Please let me know if we could do a little business here, and I'll get you the necessary funds with my thanks in advance. Separately, Gene, I will be celebrating my 50th in New Orleans. Given your adventures in the Crescent City, I would be delighted to receive any recommendations on watering holes and culinary oases that you find comfortable sharing. Well, shit, Omar, I hope it's not too late. This email was from March, so I will reach out to you, though, and give you, I have maps. I make maps.
He
bro.
does.
I'll give you my lists and maps of all the secret places. In fact, I have a little list that I gave to all the boys in the bachelor party that you can have of my favorite places in the Quarter and on Frenchman. So I'll send that over to you, Omar.
So people, Gene means it. I was in Paris and I said, I need some places for music. He's like, I got you. He sent me multiple Google Maps with pins, and the group I was with was very impressed. So Gene is the man for that. But The Exorcist, that is a must. That is an important moment in anyone who grew up in that time. It was the first horror film that you didn't know. Was this real? Could this happen? Is it a true story? It screwed with all of our heads, and the whole Linda Blair head spinning, puking, that green, whatever it is. Yes, please. We would do this in a second.
That movie never is not disturbing. Like, I can watch it 100 times and I'm still like, oh God, fuck. And The Stairs, classic. One of my favorite movie landmarks. I don't really do that very often, but I always make a stop by The Stairs. So I'm like, holy shit, Exorcist Stairs. Anyway, Omar, sounds good. And also Jack's Back. Jack the Ripper copycat killer 80s LA. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. Anyway, if we missed your birthday, happy birthday. But I'll reach out to you and hopefully it's not too late. Next up, we have an email from Dr. Beat, paging Dr. Beat, who says, hey, Shat Crew, catching up on old pods. For summer school, you guys were discussing why Mark Harmon's star never really took off. As someone in my early 20s at the time, he starred as Ted Bundy, the serial killer, in the movie called The Deliberate Stranger. That literally, at least with all the people and particularly women in my peer group, absolutely torpedoed his movie star prospects. He took all of that charm and, just like Ted Bundy in real life, played the character of a seducing, charming, nice guy to the hilt while murdering dozens of women. It was such a creepy, or as the kids say, cringe portrayal that most of us were just put off from him moving forward. I bet you can find some interviews where he talks about this. It was a very hot topic at the time. And yes, Kirstie Alley was absolutely gorgeous. When she showed up on Cheers, we're all like, she's hot for an older woman. She was playing a character in her early 30s and was still smoking hot. Just goes to show how stupid we were when we were 20-somethings. Keep up the great work. Love the pod. And that comes from Dr. Beat in Cali. P.S. I miss Ash. Even with her bullshit Grease 2 take, she was the only one who kept you clowns in line regarding the masterpiece of neo-noir that is Blade Runner. Cheers.
This is a cautionary tale about people chasing like dramatic clout, like trying to get awards and become a serious actor. It can torpedo your career. And if you don't do it right, I have to go back and look at this now, because Mark Harmon as a charismatic serial killer, it could be genius, but it could also be terrible.
I'll watch it. Maybe that's what we need to do, is start doing. I don't want to put any ideas in anybody's heads because we're so backlogged on movies. But if we were to add anything into the mix, I think it's been suggested before, like years ago, that we go back and do like mini series from like the 80s and 90s. There's some gold.
Dude, like The Day After. I watched a documentary, of course I did, about The Day After and the impact it had. Yeah, there's a lot of those that maybe we would, hey, write in, let us know if some of that you'd be interested in.
Thanks everyone for writing in. If you'd like to email us, it's hosts@shatpod.com. You can also go to shatpod.com and use the SpeakPipe feature to leave us a voicemail. Big D, what do we have coming up next week?
Gene, you know, as a teenager growing up who felt alone and introverted and kind of the oddball, much like Hiccup, anytime there was a romantic story or a film coming out, I was there to see it. And this film I was. Teenager Tom is madly in love with his ravishing next-door neighbor, but becomes hopelessly tongue-tied whenever she's around. When his parents go away for an impromptu road trip, his suave law student brother shows up and begins coaching Tom on how to pick up women. Things are going great until Tom discovers a body in his trunk. Didn't see that coming. Of his brother's car, and his perfect date with Gina takes multiple turns for the worse. Commissioned by Benjamin T. Came out almost on my birthday in 91. And this is a film I don't remember, but I remember thinking, I wish I could go on a date like that.
Thank you, Benjamin, for the upcoming commission. Thank you, Cheryl, for commissioning How to Train Your Dragon. Thank you to all the commissioners who make this podcast possible. That concludes this week's episode of Shat the Movies. Be sure to follow us on social media and share with a friend. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram at Shat the Movies. You can support the podcast by shopping our Amazon affiliate link, buying our merch, or by commissioning your own movie. Find all information by visiting our website, shatpod.com. Also, check out our sister podcast, Shat on TV, review TV series such as Lovecraft Country, Westworld, True Detective, Taboo, American Gods, Game of Thrones, and Watchmen, wherever fine podcasts be found, including Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe. And if you stop by Apple Podcasts, please leave a 5-star review. It helps the podcast grow. On behalf of my co-host, Big D, I'm Gene Lyons. Join us next time for the following movie.
It's the date of his dreams, and Tom McHugh really wants to put his best foot forward.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Unfortunately, tonight, Tom's got 2 left feet, too many women, and too many enemies.
All hell's breaking loose, man.
Mystery date. The first date is the worst date.
Tom, what happened to your face? It's all red.
Sneak preview Sunday, August 11th. Rated PG-13.
Sorry, hold on. Sorry. Come on, do the propeller. Let's try.